All right, welcome to the basic, most boring part about trading. This is pretty much the skill set you're going to be using every single day that you participate in this profession. So today, we're going to be going over, as you can see, candlesticks and exactly how they form, and then I'm going to be showing you the different types of candlesticks and their patterns that we like to see when we're trading. So, a candlestick makes up primarily four parts, right? It has a high, an open, a close, high, and a low, right? And there are two types of candlesticks. There's a bullish one and there's a bearish one, right? So you have to understand, when a candle opens, especially for a bullish candle, right, it will open right here, it will trade lower, put in a low, and then continue to trade higher. So this would be the high of the candle. This would be the close, open, low. Okay, let me give you a visual representation, correct? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me give you a visual representation so you can truly understand what I'm trying to say, right? So when the candle opens, it opened right here, right? It will trade lower, then trade higher past the open, and then continue going higher, 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 higher. This is the highest points the candle ever was, and then it will drop back lower and close. This creates this part of the candle, which is known as the wick. Let me move this so you can see. It's known as the wick, right? So on a bearish candle, it will open, go up, it'll put in the high of that bearish leg, trade lower as it can, put in the low, and then trade just a little bit higher and close. So a candle should usually have two wicks, upper wick and the lower wick. This is also a wick. So this little beautiful chart that I have here for you shows exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So let me delete all this extra stuff and noise so you can really understand this. So what happened? The candle opened here, traded lower. After it traded lower, then it proceeded to trade higher, all the way till up here, then came back lower and closed here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a bullish candlestick. It's the same concept with a bearish candlestick. It will open right here, then it traded higher, proceeded to trade lower, all the way down here, and came back and closed here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a bearish candlestick. Let me show you on the charts. All right, so I can go to, let me go on gold because I like gold. I can go to any candlestick and simply just show you. So for example, this candlestick here, what happened? Price opened right here, proceeded to trade lower, putting in the wick of this candle right here, then traded higher all the way up here. This was the highest point this candle ever was, up here, the highest point. Let me even go back so you can see what I'm talking about. Highest points this candle ever was, and then proceeded to come lower and then close. And if you notice right here, up here, not to confuse y'all, but it gives you the price of each candle. So it's telling us up here, open, high, low, close, because it's very important. This black candle is a bearish candlestick. So for me, usually it's red and blue. Red and green. So green is usually bullish, red is bearish, but I obviously color changed my screen for psychological reasons that once you become a little more seasoned in trading, you'll understand why. But it's true. Bearish candle right here. What happened? We opened, traded all the way up here, then failed to stay up here, then closed lower, came lower, traded all the way down here, and then we closed here. This, my ladies and gentlemen, is a bearish example. So, with that being said, all of these tell a story, right? Let me erase this. It all tells a story And the market is constantly telling us stories on how price likes to move. Because we know, let me delete this. Let me go ahead and show you all one more image. One more image. Boom! Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fun little topic that we need to get into. Price now starts to create patterns, right? And whenever we see these patterns, I do not trade these patterns, but I know of these patterns. Why? I like to see these patterns at key areas. For example, I explained to you about liquidity that we'll be going over later in this course, but I explained to you about liquidity, and I love to see these patterns. So let's genuinely go over what we discussed about, right? I want us to look at each of these, right? For example, the hammer candle, right? So what happened? We're pretty much saying that price opened right here, right? Traded lower, then failed to stay. It could not stay here. Then proceeded to go a little bit higher, and then close. So because we know that these candles is made up of buyers and sellers, right? Bullish is for buyers, bearish is for sellers, right? You have to understand something. At a point in time, right here, at a point in time, sellers were in control. You have to understand this. At a point in time, during this entire candle's wick right here, the candle was bearish. Sellers was in control. Then buyers said, hold on now, I'm not about to let you just come and take control. And buyers came and pushed price all the way back up, not just back to the open. We pushed past the open and closed bullish. This is a candle that you like to see around key levels. If you want to take a bullish trade and you see this candle happening at around a fair value gap, what is a fair value gap? We'll talk about that later. If you see it happening around liquidity, where's liquidity? We'll talk about it later. It's the same concept over here with the inverted hammer candle, right? With the inverted hammer candle, price opened, traded all the way up here. It's very, very bullish. Then sellers said, hell no, pushed it all the way back down, and it closed here. We do not want to see this when we are trying to take bullish trades. I don't want us to see this. That means sellers are fighting and they're pretty strong. I don't want to see that, right? Let's do one more. This, I don't know why they added this to bullish. This to me looks like a bearish engulfing. And with the bearish engulfing, this is actually a bearish signal. So this chart is wrong. But what happened here? Bullish, bullish, bullish. One bearish candle wiped out all of these bullish candles. If this is happening at around a key liquidity zone, oh my goodness, fair value gap. Oh my goodness, I'm confused now. What's a fair value gap? Ignore me. I'll tell you about that later. But to me, this is very, very bearish. Why? Bullish, bullish, bullish. One giant candle comes, and now we are bearish. Known as a bearish engulfing. If you go, I want you to go practice these on your own, right? For example, look at this. This is a bullish engulfing, right? What happened? We were once bearish. This candle was bearish. Why was this candle bearish? Because we opened, We traded a little bit higher. We couldn't close there. Traded all the way lower, and then we closed here. Boom, bearish. And then this one giant bullish candle wipes away this entire bearish candle. If you go, you can see it. Let's go to the bearish side. Look at this, bearish engulfing. Why is this a bearish engulfing? Why? Because bullish candle, one giant bearish candle. It's all the same thing. Shooting star, tweezer top. Same thing. Bearish, bearish. Bearish three-line strike. This is bullish. This is the same concept as we just discussed about, like here. Bearish three-line strike. I don't know why it's telling us that this is bearish, because this looks to me like a whole bullish continuation. We're tiny, 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 big bullish candle. I don't know what it's talking about. Then, guys, this is where the fun begins to happen, right? The Doji candle. The Doji candle is a sign of equilibrium in the market, right? What does that mean? Where's the open and close? The open is right here. The close is also right there. So you can have a bearish doji or a bullish doji, but they're hard to tell the difference, especially if it's a clean doji. But sometimes you can have just a tiny little bit of a bearish doji or a tiny little bit of a bullish doji, and I'll show you in the markets, right? And then this is high, low. Gravestone doji, same stuff. High. There's no low. Open and close is in the same area. So it's in a state of equilibrium. So at a point in time, it's opened. Buyers pushed it up. Sellers pushed it all the way lower. Then buyers pushed it back up to the exact spot that it opened at. This is showing indecisiveness. I don't know where we're going to go. That's what the market is telling us. Let's go and see if we can find some dojis. So for example, this is what I mean by when it's not so clean. This is a little bit of a bearish doji. So sellers won a little bit here. Why? Because technically the open and the close are relatively next to each other, but buyers and sellers were fighting. Hence, the giant wick to the upside, giant wick to the downside, but indecisiveness. Same here. But bearish guys won a little bit. Then here, bullish guys won a little bit. Bullish guys won a little bit. This is a clean doji. You can't really even tell who won. It's super duper clean. But I want you to go back in your charts, try and actually find these candles and understand how it works. And I'll be seeing y'all boys in the next video.